I once had a vice president, the highest paid person's opinion, pretty much a hippo, kill $1 million product. The data showed the market wanted it. The prototypes tested off the charts. The team was actually aligned and pretty much positioned to execute. But the VP had a gut feeling. He said this product didn't feel like it matched our brand. He had the political clout and killed it. No data, no appeal, just gut. 6 months later, a competitor launched a similar product, had first mover advantage, and captured the market, right, in a way that we could never catch up. This isn't an isolated story. This is the default operating system for most organizations. Leadership by guesswork, leadership by instinct, leadership by ego. And I'm going to tell you the truth. It's killing your performance. I'm Dr. Devon Morris, your leadership outlaw and adaptive performance strategist. Last week, I showed you what my PhD proved about what makes teams effective. Today, we're going to use it. We are dismantling the single most toxic myth in leadership, the lie of the gut. This is your intervention. We're going to stop guessing and build the system for how evidence-based leaders win. The first lie that keeps leaders failing is I trust my gut, that deep down thing that doesn't have anything to prove right or wrong. You hear it all the time, and the truth is it's romanticized. Leadership is an art, not a science. It's what you'll hear. That's really a lazy and dangerous fallacy. Let me be crystal clear. What most leaders call gut or instinct is not some mystical wisdom. It's just your laziest cognitive bias. When you go with your gut, you're almost always just defaulting to confirmation bias. You're just looking for the data that proves you're right. Availability heuristic. You're just remembering the last thing that happened, not the most likely thing. Also, the ego trap. You're just protecting your own past decisions. And adaptive performance strategist knows the difference between instinct and bias. Instinct is pattern recognition, developed over tens of thousands of hours of deliberate practice. Bias is simply a shortcut to avoid the hard work of actually thinking. See, 99% of the time, you're not using instinct. You're using bias. You're not taking those tens of thousands of hours and using it to your advantage. See, the objection is immediate. But Dr. Devon, the market moves too fast. We don't have the time for the data. We need the speed. See, you're confusing movement with momentum. You're confusing speed with velocity. It doesn't matter how fast you're running if you're running in the wrong direction. Gut feel leadership is just running into a wall much, much faster and maybe even much harder. An evidence-based leader uses data not to slow down, but to accelerate in the right direction. It's not about being slow, it's about being right. Here is your move to kind of kill that, your own bias off. The next time you have a gut feeling, just take a moment and stop. Ask your team and yourself one, really powerful and lethal question. What data would prove me wrong? If you can't answer that, you're not leading. You're just guessing with the authority that's behind your title. The second lie is even more dangerous, even a bigger problem. It's the lie of dumb data. This is for the leaders who think they're data driven. They say, we're not guessing. We have dashboards. We have reports. We have velocity charts. Just whatever. Your dashboards are a lie. You're not data driven. You are data drowning. See, you're drowning in the noise, not signal. You are tracking vanity metrics at best. Things that look good on a slide, but don't actually predict business success. You track the team's velocity, but you don't track lead time to value. You don't. You track story points completed, but you don't track customer reported impact, the return on investment. You track lines of code, but you don't track the cost of delay. Here's an objection that I hear. But Dr. Devon, these are the metrics we've always used. There's a history to it. They're what leadership has always been asking for. See, that's your reason. That's your excuse. That's process policing, not leadership. Your job is to not deliver the report. Your job is to challenge the report, man. Your job as a leader is to find the signal in all of the noise that exists. If you are tracking a metric that does not directly trace to revenue, risk mitigation, or customer value, you're wasting time. You really are. You're just polishing brass on the Titanic. That's all you're doing. Here's your move, right? The dashboard audit, right? Pull up your team's primary dashboard or some dashboard that you use all the time. And for every single chart, ask this question. If this number went to 0, would the business actually fail? Hear what I said? You will find that 90% of your metrics are just noise, just things for you all to pad your numbers with. Find 1 or 2 metrics that actually predict value and really burn the rest of them, right? Burn the rest of them immediately. The final lie is the one that protects the lazy, right? If we focus on data, we'll just get analysis paralysis. We have to act. Man, this is false choice. See, evidence-based leadership isn't about inaction. It's really about leverage. It's about making your one move, your one bet actually count, even if it's just for feedback. This is the system my PhD research proved. You don't guess, you diagnose. You don't react, you debrief. This is what learning agility is all about. The engine of an evidence-based culture is this relentless, brutal, unfiltered audit of reality. The problem is most teams are afraid of the evidence. They're afraid to look at what actually happened. So they just keep guessing, man. They just keep looking past it. They keep running the same broken play again and again and again. Your move is to build the engine, to reclaim the the after action review. The real retrospective is what I'm talking about here. Not the feel good session, where everyone says we worked hard, right? We just patting each other on our backs, right? You run it with 2 questions. What did we assume would happen that didn't happen? That kills your bias real quick. And what did we miss? This builds your next play. You force your team to confront reality. That is how you build a team that learns faster than the competition. See, evidence isn't a report. Evidence is fuel. So let's strip this all down. The gut feel leader is a gambler by another name. Sooner or later, the house will win. See, the evidence-based leader, the adaptive performance strategist, is the house. They don't guess, they know. They don't hope, they diagnose. They don't run on bias, they run on data. This isn't just a nice to have, y'all. It really isn't. This is the only sustainable way to win in a world full of chaos. So stop guessing. Stop running on that gut. Start building a system. Start winning. See, if you are a leader, C-suite, executive, VP, director, a coach, for all I care, who is done with that guesswork and ready to build an evidence-based system of performance in your organization, then we need to talk. We need to talk. This is my specialty. Click the link in the description. Book a strategic intervention. Let's audit your playbooks. And let's build a system that works for you and your organization. I repeat to you once again, stop guessing. Start applying what's proven. That's the unfiltered truth. Subscribe. We're bridging the gap between research and real world results. Now, do as I always tell you to do. Go dominate.